Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. We are the Real Short Box. This is live on YouTube Live, of course. Thank you for participating, for being on here. We have a wonderful program for you tonight. It is not the cosplay Q&A that you see down on the bottom of the screen there. I've eliminated that. It is actually the basically going to be your favorite animal or our favorite animal films. So we're going to be talking about some really fun animal-related films that we just love to discuss. We have Darren and Kevin here as usual, and a very special guest, the gentleman who came up with the idea and was like, let's do this, Mr. Christopher D'Eterna. So thank you for being a guest on here, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Those that aren't aware, Chris is a very talented director, actor, producer, and part-time porn star. So.
Whoa! I was not aware of that. I had no tech. Oh my god.
Softcore,
oh my god.
Yeah, we're talking like Lifetime After Dark.
You weren't aware of that, Kevin?
No, I wasn't.
You're not gonna go download his movies, I hope.
No. You see, I
It's uncomfortable.
I thought today's program, talking about our topic, was going to be a PG-13 program. I didn't know we were going to introduce these other elements.
Oh,
yeah, I've been barking up that tree for months.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
it's true.
It's softcore to some people.
So I'm gonna do a few things here in the background. While I do that, I'm gonna leave it into these gentlemen's capable hands. We're discuss maybe a few of the characters or films that didn't quite make the list, perhaps.
Okay, Darren, what's your first honorable mention that didn't make it to your top 5 list?
Well, the one honorable mention I definitely wanted to bring up was Milo and Otis, made in 1986. As you would say, it is an absolute classic. As far as the reputation of talking animal movies has always been kind of up and down depending on who you talk to. But Milo and Otis is a very kind of adorable little movie, mostly for younger kids. But basically the dog and the cat, they're kind of separated, and they kind of join together to go on this hazardous, crazy trek throughout the thing. But it's just a very sweet little movie, to say the least. And like I said, I think if you're at its time, it was a little ahead of its time, I guess you could say, as far as talking animal movies go. By today's standards, of course, it doesn't hold up as far as the technology and everything goes. But, for all I know, they could have been putting peanut butter on the roof of the dog's mouth to get him to talk. So, but regardless, it's a very joyful movie. It's definitely got the talking animal movie, at least for me, kicked off on a very good start because of just all the friendliness and the kindness that exists in the movie. And yeah, I would definitely start off by saying Milo and Otis.
Gentlemen, I have posted, so feel free to grab that if you can.
All right.
Thank you. Real quick, one of my mentions is, the best security dog you can have as long as you yourself don't make contact with him. And that's Cujo.
Ah!
Yeah.
God help the person who breaks into your home. It's gonna be a long, painful night.
That's true. But the question is Cujo that much of a hard ass unless it doesn't get bitten by the rabid bats?
That's a good point. Very good point. In that case, I guess he'd be Beethoven,
Chris, what about yours? You had an honorable mention?
Yeah, White Fang.
Oh, yeah.
Movie of 1991, I believe it was from. Had Ethan Hawke. And about that was it was the Klondike. There was the Gold Rush, and it has the wolf that kind of saves him, and they kind of survive together. And I just remember as a kid, this was my movie. It was just oh yeah, every time it was on TV, it was White Fang, it's on. This was like a super action packed movie, and I just remember for the White Fang, I want to get a dog. I want to get a wolf dog just like him. So I think the character name was the dog.
White Fang sounds like a heavy metal band.
Really does. Maria's in here. She says howdy, howdy. Hello, Maria.
What's up, Maria?
Sammy says, what's up, guys? Hey, Sammy.
Hello.
Thanks for nothing for the weekend, Sammy.
Well, what'd she do to you?
She knows what she did. Enrique says, hey, guys. Hey, Enrique.
Hi there.
Scorch, we have our usual Scorch is now here. Hello, Scorch. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it very much. Yeah, probably one of mine that this'll surprise you, based basically upon our conversation earlier. But I would go with Turner and Hooch as a film that would get an honorable mention for me, but didn't quite make the cut. Now we have Tom Hanks, who played Scott Turner, who got partnered up with a dog named Hooch. Usually when a police officer is partnered up with Hooch, it's, the bottle and they're drunk. But they did it a little different. It was a dog, and it was a very rambunctious, kind of a Rottweiler-looking dog that just liked to tear everything up and have a good time and drooled everywhere and stuff. And it was a fun kind of a kid's film, but still fun for adults. Very heartwarming, very lighthearted, very serious at the end, actually. But overall, a really great, very fun film. Turner and Hooch. Loved Hooch. Thought he was a great animal in a film. And was basically the star of it, to be honest. But Tom Hanks, he held his own.
Are you telling me this film is a tearjerker, possibly?
Yeah. Could be a tearjerker.
Oh.
And this was also back in the 1980s when Tom Hanks was predominantly doing comedy.
Big.
Which it's really interesting. Like a lot of folks kind of, so many years have passed, they forgot that that's how he got his start. And to be quite honest, he really hasn't gone back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bosom Buddies on TV.
You're right, Darren. I would like to see him go back to it. They thought that Lady Killers one, the Coen brothers, was like him going back to comedy. But I didn't really find it all that funny or that good, to be honest, when I saw it. So I was very disappointed in his re-immersion into comedy. But Ricky Barnett says hello. Hello, Ricky. Thanks for joining.
What's up, Ricky?
Sammy says, I told you I was going. It's not my fault you didn't listen. You only have yourself to blame. Yeah. Whatever, Sammy. Lies. My mom's here, everybody. Say hello to my mom and my dad.
Hi, Mother McKinney.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Thanks for joining. We have. Do we have another round of honorable mentions before we get too far in?
Yeah, Darren. What's your other one?
For another one I would throw in here, I'm going to go with Disney's Iron Will, movie about dog sledding. It's a great relationship between the dogs and quote unquote Iron Will. Because they're very codependent on one another, and it's definitely a really strong period piece. It's a strong sports movie, and it's a great relationship movie between man and man's best friend. So much better, of course, than Stephen King's Man's Best Friend with Lance Henriksen. But no, it's if you're a dog lover, Iron Will is probably the perfect movie for you, because it really does embrace what makes dogs so wonderful to their owners, and especially that whole coexistence of them having to win together. Just a great telling story, and I quite enjoy it.
Kevin, you should get closer to the screen so you take over. Yeah. Real close. Right there. Perfect. So your whole body takes up the position of where the dog was in the family. So it looks like you're the new pet.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you can stick your tongue out, Kevin. Come on, bro.
Yeah. Well done. Sean's here, everybody. Sean Leonard, thanks for joining us, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Aloha, kiddos. Sammy, to be honest, I realized it wouldn't have worked anyway, so I was just razzing you. So there we go.
See, my other honorable mention is probably one of the all-time favorites, and of course, it's a cartoon, but it was also a live-action movie. Almost 20 years ago, with the first one was good old Scooby-Doo.
Ruh-roh.
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
For sure, Scoob.
And what's the actor's name that played Shaggy? He was a perfect guy.
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard. perfect guy to play Shaggy. I mean, especially when you saw him in Scream. Actually, I kind of thought about that back then. He would play like a good Shaggy. So, good casting there. What can we say? The Scooby Snacks, we know that's supposed to be about something else. But, this is a family show, so we can't discuss what that's about. And, of course, the Mr. Machine, that's another trippy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to you, Mr. Turner.
My other honorable mention is a movie from 2018, Peter Rabbit. Very fun movie. It's a great cast. Has James Corden playing Peter Rabbit, and then you got kind of. I always love those like cat and mouse type stories. Where it's like going after each other, very Home Alone-ish. Domhnall Gleeson plays the human that owns the garden that Peter's trying to break into, and he's been great in everything he's been in since Harry Potter. Really big fan of him, and it's a super fun movie, and I watch it every Easter.
Every Easter
Excellent.
now, nice. I can get behind that. I think my final honorable mention would be Binks the cat from Hocus Pocus.
Oh, okay.
Which technically is also a kid, but whatever. But when Binks was in cat form, because of a curse that the Swearengen sisters? Swearengen sisters? I can't remember. Anyway, that they did. It was Sarah Jessica Parker, Bette Midler, and Kathy Najimy.
Najimy.
The three of them played the witches in Hocus Pocus. And they hexed this little boy, this teenager, into becoming a black cat, who was Binks the cat, and which was cursed to walk the land pretty much forever until he came across a boy and a girl that he felt could help break the curse for him, and also keep these witches finally end their terrible reign that they had on the town with the children and everything. It's kind of a creepy movie overall if you think about it, but it's done in such a light-hearted manner. Even with the zombie, Billy, played by, it was Doug Jones, I think, that played him. One of his earlier parts, actually. So it was all around. It was a really lightheartedly dark-centered film with a lot of fun, a lot of comedy, and a lot of action. And I really liked the character Binks in it. So I thought, that'd be a good honorable mention. Didn't quite make the list, but a pretty cool honorable mention.
I wonder if you will see Binks in the Hocus Pocus sequel.
If we ever get the Hocus Pocus sequel.
No, you will actually get the Hocus Pocus sequel. A few months ago, one of the producers actually posted on his social media account that it has been greenlit.
Oh.
So you will get a Hocus Pocus 2.
Wow, that's
cool.
Like a poster or something that was posted saying "coming soon." Hope they could have had like the witch or something on it. I remember seeing something about that.
By the way, for those, if I sound like I'm dying or that I keep clearing my throat, I apologize. I almost did die. I choked on an almond. It stayed with me for about 15 minutes. I think it's finally gone now. The ghost of the almond is gone. But I'll be taking it a little easy. So there you go. Almost killed by an almond.
That'd be terrible.
Wouldn't it be an awful way to go?
Actually,
you better believe it.
It would be a cool name for like a stage play.
Choked by an almond?
Killed by an almond. Yeah, killed by an almond
Death,
or choked by an almond.
Death by almond milk.
Death by almond. There we go.
There you go.
Choked by an almond. That sounds like a soap opera.
Yeah. Oh, Janet just joined. Hey, Janet, thanks for joining.
Hello,
Yes,
Janet.
yes, Janet.
Did my life flash before my eyes, Sammy? No, sadly it did not. So, I don't know if that's true.
I thought you were seeing those, we call the California raisins like dancing in front of you.
Yeah. They were like, you should have had us, dumbass.
But for your information, Sammy, that whole life flashing before your eyes thing, that's a real thing. That actually does happen to people, which I think is absolutely crazy. And it did one time happen to me. Yeah, it's not just an expression.
Evan joined us. He says, greetings, Earthlings. Well, greetings
Howdy,
back to
Evan.
you, Alien Evan.
Alien.
Hmm. Yeah, everybody had figurines of the California Raisins, Sammy. Like anybody that was an '80s kid, or was around in the '80s. Maybe uh, since.
Yeah, and let's not forget their stunning appearance on a Claymation Christmas special.
Oh yes, that's
Oh,
true.
of course.
That's true. All right, well, I guess we could get started in on this, but briefly, before we go too deep in, I wanted to mention something really quickly. Let me bring it up here. We have a few sponsors, and I always like talking about our sponsors because our sponsors are great. First off, we have Half's Hot Sauce. Now, Half's Hot Sauce is halfshotsauce.com. You can go to, and they have a great selection. They're an Ohio-based company that has an excellent selection of hot sauces in all kinds of ranges of heat. You would have the Killer Kiwi, which almost did kill me. You have the Sugar Rush Peach, which is my personal favorite. There's a Trippy Pickle, Pineapple, Indigo Fire, which is a blueberry, and many, many more. Check those out. We do give some giveaways from time to time with the hot sauces, and we will be doing another one here probably for the summertime. We'll be doing another giveaway of these hot sauces, these wonderful, delicious hot sauces. You go to the website and make a purchase. In the notes section, just say The Real Short Box sent you. Speaking of making a purchase, everyone needs to go to splatteredfrog.com and go to that site and pick up some amazing swag. Now, I'm wearing one of the hats right now, if you can see the hat that I'm wearing. And this hat, with the coupon code, right now, the coupon code, I believe, is still Headlock. If you use that, you can get 25% off your order. So that means a hat or a shirt would cost you less than $20. And I'm telling you right now, guys, the hat's very comfortable, very good quality, very comfortable hat, form-fitting, one size fits almost everybody, unless you have a ginormously huge cranium, and then you could be in trouble. But if you have a regular size noggin, or just slightly above or below, I think you'd be quite comfortable with this hat. Splattered Frog Brewing is a brewery, startup brewery based out of Texas. And Chris, do you have any more information that maybe you might know about Splattered Frog Brewing?
Well, I know that they use all merchandise, money they get from merchandise to go towards creating new beers. So yeah, definitely go out there and try to buy some swag so that the brewer can try to experiment and try to create some new beers. I know he's brewing up some stuff right now as we speak.
Let's see here. We got a couple more comments. Sammy says, "Oh, shush up." Okay. Thanks, Sammy. Let's see. Sean says, "What's the best hot sauce they have?" Maria answered to him. She said she liked the pineapple the best. Sean, I think the Sugar Rush Peach is fantastic. But if you're looking for something for burgers or hot dogs, I think the Trippy Pickle is perfect for something like that. It just depends on what you're doing. Like the Sugar Rush Peach tastes amazing with tacos. So does the pineapple. If you're going to have carnitas, I think the pineapple might work the best. So it's really going to just depend on what you're doing. But overall, I think the Sugar Rush Peach or the Indigo Fire are good, run-of-the-mill, just your basic, really good hot sauces. So I recommend those as well. Enrique says, "I had a very large California Raisins plushie." Oh, that's cute.
That's outstanding.
Janet says, "Good to know, Maria. I think I only tried the blueberry hot sauce." And my mom says, "Hi, Maria," to Maria. So you can see in front of you on the screen these wonderful shirt and a hat that you could get. Please go and help them out if you can, because like Chris said, 100% of the money you spend on the swag goes into production of different varied beers that they are basically in the discovery stage on a lot of this stuff. They're testing out a lot of different things. I think he was doing a chocolatey kind of a porter is what he's working on coming up next, if I recall, or something similar to that. So we're getting some dark beers. He just did a wheat beer, cold-blooded wheat, and before that did a regular amber, which was fantastic. So just some really good brews. Yeah. Some really good beers, really good product, really good swag. Check them out, splatteredfrog.com. So let's get started, guys.
Let's.
All right, so we'll go round and round and round. We'll start with our guest this time on our animal films. Now, we didn't put these technically in order, but however, if any of you individual guys here would like to put it in some form of an order, you're more than welcome to. Mine's just kind of randomized, but you can do whatever you want. So, Chris, we'll go ahead and start with you if you'd like, and we'll pull up a picture of whatever you want to talk about first.
All right, so my first movie I'm going to talk about is from 2017. It's another English film, and it is Paddington 2. There's very little wrong with this movie. The movie is a huge improvement over the first one, and it is an incredibly adorable movie to watch. And cast is amazing. Big-time English stars. You got Michael Gambon, Ben Whishaw playing Paddington, Sally Hawkins. And it's just, for those of you who don't know, it's a talking bear, and he just gets into a bunch of mishaps. And then in this one, he settles with a family, and he's trying to just exist in this family, but mishaps occur because that's what happens with Paddington. Based on the book, right? There was a book first, see, he even has a plush doll. So yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's great. It has I think at one point it had 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
everyone loves this movie. It's a great movie. If you've not seen it, you need to go out and watch it.
It is actually graded higher on the Rotten Tomatoes database now, officially higher than Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Paddington Bear 2 is the highest graded film on Rotten Tomatoes.
I had overheard that got surpassed last week, but the fact that it even got that high is really the story.
Wow,
Sean, I agree. He says Paddington 2 is a masterpiece and it should have been nominated for Best Picture. Now,
yes, I agree.
I'm going to just bounce off of that with you, Chris, because I also chose Paddington Bear. I just chose Paddington Bear in general because I think the first film is excellent and I think the second film is amazing. So I have no problem with either films. I will say it was really exciting. I'm so sad that Bonnie's not in the chats because Bonnie and I went to see the sequel and I made us marmalade sandwiches. And I snuck the little tiny Paddington that I had here that I bought in London. I bought one for me and one for my mom. I snuck the little tiny Paddington in my pocket, in my coat pocket, and the sandwiches inside my other pockets. So when we sat down, I put the little Paddington next to me in an empty seat. And then we all had marmalade sandwiches and watched the film. And it was just a fantastically wonderful time. Great film. Paddington 2. Makes you relive all these special moments of your childhood, you know, as far as like your imagination and where it can take you. And it's just a loving film and just very tenderly given to us. And it looks like everybody involved really enjoyed themselves and had a good time. And the hijinks he gets up to are just delightful. So it is a really wonderful series of films. So highly recommend it.
And he's a well-dressed bear.
Mom, you've never seen either of these Come on. You've never seen Paddington or Paddington 2?
And sophisticated as he has a British accent.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes, he does. So I guess that's Chris and I's first film right out of the gate. So whichever you gentlemen would like to go next, either Darren or Kevin, we'll go from there.
You go, Darren.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. We'll go with 1993's Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. It is the story of a Himalayan cat and an American bulldog, played by Michael J. Fox and Sally Field as Chance and Sassy. This is, once again, one of those movies that it's just a journey movie, basically. They go through the wilderness of the Sierra Nevada mountains, and basically it's just their quest to get back home. Once again, also, too, much like Milo and Otis I mentioned earlier, way ahead of its time as far as talking animal movies went. And it's just one of those movies, it's just hard to dislike anything about it. It's very kid-friendly. The jokes are all-age humor. But I just would recommend it because I just think it's a very positive movie. It makes you very happy to watch it. It makes you really fall in love with animals, which I think is kind of the whole goal of a lot of these animal movies. You rarely see animals extraordinarily malevolent in movies. There are exceptions, which will probably make our list later. But this is just an enjoyable movie, and the fact that it's done live action just makes it all the more impressive because to train a dog and a cat to do a lot of these things, the animals, of course, are smarter than you think, but the amount of patience it takes to be rolling film, which is very expensive, and then to allow them to the liberty to make very little mistakes just makes it all the more impressive.
Now, let me ask you, gentlemen, something. And people in the chats too, chime in if you would like. When you're thinking about what you like with these types of pet films and animal films and stuff, do you prefer where an animal is just looking at something and you hear the voice? So it's basically there's no lip movement or anything, but the animal's still talking, like psychically? Or do you prefer when their mouths move and they talk? Or is there no difference?
My preference is not the Lion King, so as long as there's some sort of emotion, I'm happy.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm a little bit indifferent, but I guess like sometimes, depending on the film, if it's really quirky, I'd like to see them move their mouths a little bit and, like have something to say. I think that adds a little silly element to it that's enjoyable. I think if Paddington, for example, didn't speak, like open his mouth to speak, I think that would have bothered me. So, like, especially since he's more of an anamorphic kind of a character. He stands on his hind legs and stuff and talks. And,
back in the mid-'90s when I was filming my amateur soap opera, Dallas W. Hartman, Attorney at Law, we did actually have a judge that was our dog. And let me tell you, the process of putting peanut butter on the roof of their mouth just to talk it's really fun.
Yeah.
And you should do it more often, amateur filmmakers. It's a great experience.
Yeah. My mom says all depends on the movie, and Maria says, oh, I want to see them talk. So she wants to see them talk. So just a question I thought I'd throw out. Kevin, what's your film?
My first one would be the 1984 classic Christmas movie, Gremlins. And the adorable creature, Gizmo.
Yeah, Gizmo's cool.
Yeah, Gizmo's cool. Unless you break 3 very important rules. You expose the little cute mogwai to light, which will kill him. If you let him come into contact with water, and of course, if you feed him after midnight. And if you do that, we all know what happens. Starts doing a little shake, and the formation of those nasty gremlins come out and cause a muck, cause destruction. Things get really wild. But if he didn't have those problems, he'd be like the perfect little pet. Adorable little fella. But you have to have a movie, so that's why we have Gremlins. But other than that, I love the Mogwai Gizmo.
I liked him too, and he really was a cool little guy. A very interesting concept. A very dark story, though, by the way.
Especially the first one. The first movie.
Really not for kids. if you think about it. Like,
Yeah.
in that, the funny thing is, in the 80s, a lot of kids' films weren't really for kids. They were
Nope.
there to frighten you.
They had great lessons for kids, though. That's the thing. They had great lessons. Dark lessons, but great lessons. It's kind of like our modern age grim fairy tales.
Yeah. Aesop's Fables, Grimm fairy tales, whatever you want to go with. Yeah, totally agree. Okay, well, we're going to go back to you, Chris. You have another one for us?
Sure. Let's talk about a little killer whale action.
Oh.
We're going to talk about Free Willy.
I yell the title of this movie every time I go to the bathroom.
It's one of the quintessential movies of my childhood. Every time I think about like animal movies, I think Free Willy. I think about the moment with him on the rocks and Free Willy jumping over. I think about how badly they did the sequel. I think Michael Ironside was the villain, if I remember correctly. He was always the villain, but especially in this one. And I just, it really like brought in like that movie made me want to get a killer whale as a pet. I know it's not possible, but I was like 11 or 12 years old, and I was like, I want to be able to do that. I want to take it to the beach and have it jump over me. And
just don't let it jump on you.
Pretty fun, amazing movie. I haven't seen it probably in 20 years, but it's just I think of my childhood as one of the movies I went to, all the time. Owned it on VHS, watched it like every week basically when it came out. I was a huge fan of it. Huge part of my childhood, so I had to put that on my list.
Nice. Free Will is a good one, definitely.
Of course, one of the thing that I remember most about Free Willy, my little brother used to watch it all the time as a kid, but what I remember most as an adult is the insanely high paycheck that Michael Madsen received on both Free Willy movies. The second one, I believe, was about $15 million or something crazy like that.
Wow.
That's
Michael
amazing.
Madsen, guys. So, yeah, I mean, whoever your agent was, good job.
Good for him. Yeah. Jeez.
He got paid.
We have some comments, by the way. Scorch says to Kevin, water sustains all life on Earth unless you're a Mogwai.
Ah, that's a good one.
Damien says, oh no, not Free Willy. Nope. Tugs the heartstrings. And my mother says, good movie. So, good choice there, Chris. You got a lot of them involved.
Yeah, and also let's not forget, too, co-star Lori Petty following up a legendary performance from Point Break.
Ah, yes. Lori Petty.
Another 90s classic.
And your favorite, Tank Girl.
Tank Girl. Yep, my favorite. Yeah, she's great. She was even great in Orange is the New Black when she popped in.
Ah, okay.
The Journey of Natty Gann. You think that's going to come up, Sean? I think you might be disappointed here, buddy. My next one, I'll go with, this one's fun. This is a fun little family-friendly film that scared the shit out of me in '93. Jurassic Park.
Oh, that shouldn't scare you.
Now, we're talking, if you look at this GIF or GIF or whatever that I have on the screen right now, the T-Rex eating the guy on the toilet over and over and over again. It's quite hypnotizing. He was just trying to be friendly.
He just wanted to pet him, that's all.
It is quite hypnotizing. And actually, yeah, Mom, Tank Girl, if you think about it, could have been on this list as well because of the kangaroo-like people that were in the film that are animals or anamorphic characters. So Tank Girl could have been on this list. I just didn't do it. Went with Jurassic Park, though. The dinosaurs are really the stars of the film. Secondary are the people involved. In fact, when I first watched Jurassic Park, I had no goddamn clue who Sam Neill was.
What?
Nothing. No idea. I didn't know who he was. It's '93. I didn't know Sam Neill.
Yeah, I don't think I did either.
Yeah, see? Thank you. Suck it, Kevin. '93. No idea who Sam Neill was. Didn't know who Lorna Dern was. Jeff Goldblum, I'd seen him, but I was like, oh, that's that guy. I wonder what he's been doing
You never
lately.
saw The Fly?
No, I didn't. I watched The Fly for the first time like 5 years ago, dude.
Oh, jeez.
I thought it was great, by the way, but I watched it for the first time about 5 years ago. But yeah, Jurassic Park's great. It's one of the few movies where these creatures are deadly, but they're also the stars, and the T-Rex is kind of the main villain, but also a hero, and it's
He's
so
misunderstood.
complicated. And the Velociraptors, I think, are the most deadliest villains in this. We get Triceratops, Stegosaurus, Brontosaurus, Brachiosauruses. We get all the fun animals, except for the Ankylosaurus I don't believe we saw in this one, which is a bit of a disappointment for me, but whatever. I'll let it go. But Jurassic Park, I think, is a great one. I can't think of anything bad about it, to be honest, and we all know it, so that's it, Jurassic Park.
I can say something bad about it, Donald. When you and I went to go see the 3D version of Jurassic Park, I didn't notice a difference.
Between the regular D and the 3D?
Yeah, I didn't notice much of a difference. It did not hit me on a gut level.
Well, here's the problem, though. You can't go back and re-render these films 3D. Like, you have to film them in a 3D aspect to be able to create that. That's why Avatar worked so well. Not The Last Airbender, the Avatar of the Blue People. That's why that worked so well, is because it was filmed in that state-of-the-art technology that created that 3D world. So when you saw it, when these jellyfish-like things that glowed blue were like floating in the air, I'm seating people in the theater in ArcLight in the dome and looking and going, like, the shit is it? You know what I mean? Like, it looked good. So when they do these, they remaster them and they convert them over to a 3D after the fact. Not as good. You're never going to get it as good. It's not really. And if you don't have really good eyesight, well, you're effed. Like, that's just the way it is. Unless I'm wearing my glasses, I don't really see 3D. So it's just, it definitely can be disappointing, Darren, for sure. But let's move on. Who's next?
Great. I'm going to go with another movie from the early 90s. This is about a little Saint Bernard named Beethoven.
Ah, nice.
Oh.
So Beethoven is basically, the lovable dog that everybody in the household is really fond of. But unfortunately, they have to contend with a dog-napping veterinarian and his henchmen. So this is one of those movies, of course, it is very dog-friendly. Strangely enough, also had 4 sequels and various cartoon series. But what I really like about Beethoven is the tenor of it is very odd. Just all the humor in it is very strange. I wouldn't say it's dark. It's just kind of bizarre at times. And the veterinarian is just a true wackadoodle, and is just basically got it. And it's your standard family kind of film. But what's amazing to me is every time you watch it, it kind of just flies right by. I mean, it's only 87 minutes, but it really never drags. It's always relatively interesting. The dog causes a lot of trouble, but you still like the dog, kind of deal. And sadly, Charles Grodin did pass on a couple weeks ago. This is definitely one of, at least for me, one of the final Charles Grodin movies that I recall, where he was, the main star.
Oh,
so
man, yeah, you're right. You're right. He was relegated then to kind of bit parts and stuff after, pretty much.
Yeah, and I don't know if he even maybe detached himself a little bit from the movie industry, because it would seem that he just had very few roles after this. But yeah, in honor of the great Charles Grodin, I'll go ahead and talk about this movie, which also features Bonnie Hunt as his wife.
I really like Charles Grodin in, it was a very small part, but it was in So I Married an Axe Murderer, where the guy was trying to, and I can't remember, Anthony something, the actor, and he was trying to commandeer a car, and he tried to commandeer Charles Grodin's car, and Charles was like, no. And he's like, well, can I ride with you? And he's like, well, where are you going? And then he tells him, and he's like, all right, get in. And then he ends up taking him. But it was really funny because he was just like, no, you're not taking my car. That's like not happening. And it was a really funny moment. And that movie's amazing, by the way. So if you haven't seen it, you definitely should check out So I Married an Axe Murderer. We got a ton of comments that just popped in. Okay, let's see. Mom says, love Tank Girl. Angie says, hey, Angie, thanks for joining us. She says, depends if it's done well. Loved Beverly Hills Chihuahua's mouth movement. So, there you go. Sean says, okay, no Natty Gann. Pet Cemetery, please, then. Well, I mean, you got Cujo earlier, Sean. I don't know if you were here for that, but Cujo did pop in. That was one of Kevin's choices. Scorch says, at Rumblespoon, you can't unsee the horrific arm wrestling scene in The Fly. I saw it when I was 8, and it scared my brain to this day. Hakeem says, hey, Real Short Box crew. Hey, Hakeem, thanks for joining.
Hey, what's up, Hakeem?
Maria says, almost all 3D movies that come out these days are filmed in 2D and rotoscoped in post. Lame. Sammy says, the line for that ride is still way too long. I think she's talking about the Beethoven ride. Right? Angie says, pardon me, I was way behind in the chat and didn't know. It's fine, Angie. Don't worry about it. Sometimes, as you can see, I'm way behind mentioning things. Maria says, there are 8 Beethoven movies. I know this because my friend edited the 8th one. Beethoven's Treasure Tale. Tail. Ha ha ha.
You know, Beethoven is low-key a really successful franchise, isn't it?
Apparently. Apparently, it's the Tremors of dog films. Go figure. All right, we got another one here. I think, Kevin, it's your turn, right? Bless you, Chris.
Yes, I'm going to go with something that's also a combination of a movie and a TV show, but probably more remembered for his TV show, Flipper.
They call him Flipper.
Yes, Flipper. The adorable bottlenose dolphin named Flipper. He helps the Rips family, protect the Coral Key Park and Marine Preserve. And they have different adventures. They make sure that, protect the park from thugs, criminals, and people who want to do nature harm. And what can you say? Just like Chris, when he mentioned Free Willy, when I was a kid, I actually wanted to have that dolphin as a pet and as a friend, even though common sense tells me there's no place to put a dolphin and there's no way to really take care of a, precious little creature like, well, not precious big creature such as Flipper or any kind of dolphins.
It's a mammal, Kevin.
Yes, it's a mammal. I didn't say it's a fish. It's a mammal. Matter of fact, dolphins are considered one of the most intelligent creatures on Earth.
They're also sexual beings, Kevin.
You don't say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Were you the one who told me the story about a dolphin doing something that I couldn't believe it did? That's very disturbing. I hope that's not true.
I was just going to say, as this, of course, is a platform to endlessly promote ourselves. When I was in Cancun, I was at the Dolphin Swim, and those are very powerful creatures as well, as they both, as 2 of them on either side of me actually lifted me out of the water completely.
Wow.
They flew?
You know what?
I was walking on water.
Wow. Well, you know what? They could take on sharks. Like, sharks wouldn't really mess with them. Like, they could fight a shark.
No, they're way more mobile than sharks, too. All they have to do is get their bottlenose into a certain pressure point in the shark's neck. Gone. Done. Finished.
Wow.
See, a dolphin's a great friend to have, just in case. So basically, Flipper could take on Jaws, is what you're saying.
No, he would not take on Jaws. He would defeat Jaws. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, too, dolphins have a massive range that they can communicate. Miles and miles and miles they can communicate with one another.
Yeah.
That's great. So if I see Jaws, like, Jaws, look what I got on my side.
That's right.
Hakeem just commented, he said sharks are scared to death of dolphins.
Oh, yeah. As they should be. As they should be.
And Maria says Pixar, it didn't happen, Darren.
What didn't happen?
You getting lifted out with the dolphins.
Oh.
Hey, Maria, just so you know, I have it on DVD, and I'm glad to show it to you anytime you want.
There you go. No backing out now, Maria. You got to watch his DVD of his vacation film. Oh man, most people don't want to do that at all, but Maria just walked right into that.
Yes,
Whoa.
you did.
Ah, Hakeem has a cool follow-up comment I see. He said, dolphins running gangs and can take out sharks with their cunning and agility, which I think someone mentioned earlier. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Dolphins running gangs. I like that.
Sean says, bless you. Missed the Cujo part, but that's good. And then all 3D movies give him a headache except for Avatar.
If you guys will give me one moment, I actually do have a photo on the wall of me and the dolphin, so I can tease this a little bit. Just
All right.
1 moment, please.
All right, we're gonna do a little tease here. Was that everybody's round for this one? I think so, wasn't it?
The Christo?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you want to? Okay.
Yeah, he went first. Chris has been going first every time, so I think it's Chris's turn.
All right, so it's your turn, right?
No, I think it's Chris's turn to go again.
Oh, okay. All right, my bad.
Right, Chris? You still have like 3 left, yeah?
All right.
That's correct.
Okay,
So
cool.
this is just, hold on. We're going to go ahead, get a little inside baseball here real quick. I'm going to make sure to take this effect off so that we can see this a little clearer. All right. So this is me in the pool with the dolphin. Now, this is just to show you that I was in the pool with the dolphin. But like I said, I will have to show you the DVD to show where both of these things on either side of me lifted me out of the water. It was insane. Insane, I say.
That is crazy. Scorch says, I like Verdell, the cute little dog from As Good as It Gets. Oh, that's right. That dog helped make that movie win 7 Academy Awards. I remember that dog, too. I love that dog because it was he kept that bacon. Jack Nicholson. Dad, Jack Nicholson, kept the bacon in his pocket so, like, the dog would come to him instead. I remember that. Yeah. That's a good film. Maria says she wants to see Darren fly! Exclamation points.
Absolutely. Not only will you see me fly, you can see the entire Manel family flying as well.
And Sean says, does Darren have any vacation slides he can share on the live? Yes.
Not immediately on me, but I can make things happen.
My mom believes you, by the way, Darren. She said she believes you, so you're in. Okay, Chris, what's your next film?
The saddest movie ever made. Old Yeller.
Oh
boy.
Well, you just brought the room down.
I just I'm thinking about that movie. I think that the first time I felt real major like sorrow and loss in a movie was watching Old Yeller.
They made us watch that in school, dude.
We watched Shiloh in my school.
Yeah.
Wait, they made you watch Old Yeller in school?
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, we watched the Old Yeller knockoff, Where the Red Fern Grows.
Yes. I think we watched that one too.
Yeah, they made us watch it, and then they told us that we had to go home and kill our dogs.
In the words of George Carlin, life is a series of dogs.
Our school was horrible. Anyway, Old Yeller. Anybody have the
Old Yeller? The great dog. Great dog. And whenever I think about sad movies, it's always number one top of my list. And everyone knows it, and it's a very well-known movie, and everyone knows. Oh, here we go, Old Yeller. Here. Of course, there's lots of other movies where a similar thing happens to it, but
yeah,
it was the first, and
see,
it tugs your heartstrings like I don't like none other.
Chris, Angie's crying. Hakeem says he never watched it. Sean says he's my dog. I'll do it. And Maria says that she watched Old Yeller in school also. So see.
I mean, it's a sign. This is a sign of growing up, man. A loss of innocence, having to do what you have to do. Obviously, the message is very relatable, but incredibly sad.
Hakeem says Logan was one of the saddest movies he's seen.
Yeah, that's a sad movie.
Pretty sad. Scorch.
Yeah, kind of screwed up too.
Yeah. Scorch says Old Yeller survived a vicious wild boar attack only to get done in by rabies from a wolf bite. Yeah, that's kind of a shit way to go for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as, the dog Samantha and I Am Legend, how it went, man. It's all Will's fault, man. It's Will's fault. You know how many people I've talked to who actually turned that movie off when the dog died? It's
Really?
a shocking number, actually. More than a handful. And I haven't really asked too many people about I Am Legend, but I've met a number of people that turned it off after the dog died.
But I think it was a similar thing with Game of Thrones. Once the first wolf died, lots of people stopped watching.
Yeah, you can't kill the animals, man. Can't kill the animals. All right, I'll go next on my list. This one, like I said, they're not really in any particular order, but I sense a theme here from Chris's was dog. I'm going to go with another dog thing, and I am going with Toto from The Wizard of Oz.
The original!
Can't go wrong with Toto from The Wizard of Oz. Look at that doggie's face. Look at your cute little guy. Just little cheekies. Yeah. You want to give him a treat? You want to give him a treat, don't you? Give him a treat.
Little terrier.
And you can pick him up, too, easily.
Oh, yeah. You know, and if you're in trouble, you could pass him to somebody, and they could catch the dog and run with him, or you could punt him, and then they could catch the dog and run down the... Wait, no, that's... Anyway, you see what I'm saying. He's a very small dog, very travel-friendly, so to speak. He can fit in a bag.
He's from Kansas.
Yeah, and he's from Kansas. A great film. I don't know what to say otherwise. I mean, there's flying monkeys. They sucked. Toto didn't suck. Toto was awesome. Toto was...
You have something against monkeys?
Yeah. Well, when they're flying and trying to steal your dog and, like, everything, like pulling on your clothes and shit and scratching at you.
Tim, those are humans in monkey costumes.
Oh, of course,
of course. Chris and we went to Thailand together. Chris, imagine that monkey that stole all those bananas off the guy's, like, motorcycle that he had when he stopped for, like, 30 seconds. Imagine if monkeys could fly. There wouldn't be anything in Thailand, by the way. You would have to run and, like, hold everything under you. Otherwise, they'll fly around and then just start pulling on shit. You'd see little toddlers getting flung up on roofs and shit. It'd be madness. Those monkeys there in Thailand, they mean business, man. You better give them food or else. They'll take it. They will take it.
Are they worse than, like, some of the geese here in America that come
at you? Far worse. Far worse.
Probably because they have hands.
What's that?
And so probably they're worse because they have hands and they can pick out of bags. They can go in your bag and pull things out.
Hey, the monkey's got to make a living, right?
Sammy says that she Googles ahead of time to make sure that the dogs don't die in horror movies.
What?
Let's see. Hakeem says he was very irresponsible with Sam and I Am Legend.
Yes, he was. Thank you.
Sammy says, I loved the movie growing up and had the figures. Also caused me to want a pair of red shoes. Oh, cool. Maria says, not too late to get a pair of Sammy. And Angie says, put on your red shoes and dance. Yeah, dance. Right, yeah, let's dance.
I don't know any lists of film scholars that put Wizard of Oz any lower than 5. So, I mean, all time. So, yeah, it's definitely a classic movie.
Yeah.
And I would make the argument, is the original pet animal.
Yeah, Toto was great. I mean, everybody knows Toto. Toto was just as responsible for helping out as anybody else in the movie. So, Toto's a good choice, I think. But, Darren, what's yours?
My next one I'm going to go with, I'm going to keep on this theme of St. Bernard dogs, although completely opposite in behavior. I'm, of course, talking about Stephen King's Cujo. So we have to put ourselves in the time capsule here. This film was released in 1983. So everything that Cujo was doing seemed all the more impressive because, you know, maybe there's some editing tricks involved, but you really can't cheat a lot of the special effects. And the dog did all these things. And that dog was ferocious the entire movie. And even though, you know, I can easily make the argument that Dee Wallace is a complete questionable parent at best when it comes to outsmarting a rabid dog. The dog made it all believable. I mean, and of course, like in any Stephen King suspense movie, there has to be one or two sacrifices that the heroes have to see in order to believe that this is real danger that they're in. Stephen King, of course, has a great ability to really show, take everyday situations or everyday creatures that you run into and make them as deadly and dangerous as possible. In some ways, I kind of like this movie more than the book. The book was not my favorite. I was more of a Pet Sematary guy. But yeah, Cujo's, like, it's legitimately scary. And when I watch it today, it still holds up relatively well, and is probably one of the more memorable horror films of the early 80s.
Yeah, it's pretty frightening in a lot of ways. And Cujo's a very menacing force. He's big, you know? He's
Oh, yeah.
somebody you don't want to mess with, in other words.
Yes. And gets superpowers after being bitten by a bat.
Yeah. Surprised he didn't sprout wings. Maria says there's an animated Toto movie coming out. That's cool. Hakeem says, I first watched Cujo about a year ago, and the suspense was actually frustration. Let's see. I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. And Gort says the sheriff that Cujo killed was replaced by the sheriff in Needful Things, played by Ed Harris.
That's true. I can't think of his name, but he's a bald guy. His name's escaping me, but yeah, great actor.
Okay, Kevin, your turn.
All right, this is more of a pure TV show, but another classic 80s television show, Brandon from Punky Brewster.
Brandon? Who's Brandon?
You remember Brandon, the golden retriever that Punky had? He's like in every episode.
Who's Punky Brewster?
Oh, you don't know Punky Brewster is. She used to come to ArcLight a lot. Soleil Moon Frye, very nice lady.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw her there.
Oh, I saw her quite a few times. Yeah, she in the box office.
Kevin?
Huh?
Is that a name drop from Kevin?
What name?
Yeah, I believe it was.
I love it, man. That's a great name drop there.
Oh, yeah, Soleil Moon Frye. Yeah, she's very sweet. She's very nice.
You saw her? You saw her at ArcLight multiple times?
Yeah. I got her in box office like a few times. She was very nice.
They had dinner at the cafe together. Chef Steve whipped them up a burger, man.
But this is really simple. I mean, anyone who watched the TV show as well as the cartoon, that dog was everywhere with Punky. It's pretty much like it was like her other best friend. Of course, she had her best friend Cherry, but that dog was always there with her from the very beginning when she was homeless on the street before Harry Warnermont adopted her. Of course, she was a cute little puppy at the time, but he grew up into a friendly dog. She'd always dress him up. She would bring him to school to be part of some school experiment or something like that. But you can tell if you're a kid, that kind of golden retriever dog is like one of your best friends. They're always there for you at all times. You can never go wrong having a dog like Brandon at your side.
Ed Lauder. That's the name of the sheriff in Cujo. It just came to me. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. That was it.
Didn't they just revive that show?
They did.
Yeah.
On what do you call it, the Peacock Network?
And they did a documentary thing of like her old footage that she had, right? When she was a kid.
I just saw that about a week ago. Yeah, I think it's called Kid 90, something like that. It's interesting. It's also very dark and sad because a lot of stars from that period that she grew up with passed away for different reasons.
Yeah. Angie says Brandon was super smart.
Yes, he was.
Angie, Brandon Haney was kind of smart too, so maybe it's just Brandon's in general.
Could be.
Could be. I don't know. Sean says, I had a moment with Celine Moon Frye at ArcLight. Oh, do tell, Sean.
Oh, nice.
And Hakeem says, Chef Steve made great burgers at ArcLight. Don't hate.
How do you think Kevin would have gotten the date if Chef Steve didn't make great burgers?
Good point. All right, Chris.
She's married, by the way.
Which makes it even more dangerous and solicitous, Kevin.
Yep. Kevin loves the danger.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
All right, Chris, what's your next one?
I'm going to take it away from dogs a little bit. I'm going to bring up a little farm animal. I'm going to do kind of what we did with Paddington and kind of talk about a couple movies rather than just one. And I'm talking about Babe. Babe and Babe Pig in the City. I mean, one of the most quoted movies ever, in my opinion, is Babe. That'll do, Pig. That'll do. And he's a cute little pig, and it's just a fun little movie, and I still go back and watch it all the time. And the second one I feel is way underrated. Pig in the City, underrated film. Actually, I believe it's become a bit of a cult hit because of the underratedness of it. I mean, it's just, who can't just look at Babe and talking pig and just feel good about it? So I never had to put them on my list.
Are you saying there's a cult following, or that they created a cult based on Babe, a Pig in the City?
There's a cult following.
Oh, okay. Because I would prefer that there be a cult based around Babe 2, Pig in the City. I think that I could get behind that. I think.
Yeah, they're a bunch of bacon eaters, basically.
Fine.
But I was going to say, George Miller was the director of Babe. George Miller has directed very few films in his long lifetime, and I would make the case all of them are very good. And he also opened the door for Australian filmmakers in a way that had never been done before. But to think that the guy who did Mad Max, every one of them, is the creator of Babe is just... It's stunning to think about. That's all.
Yeah, ain't that something?
Shows his diversity in filmmaking and storytelling.
Yeah. When they said that he was going to be the director of the Justice League films, I was very disappointed because I was like, "Come on, this guy's done Babe, and he did Happy Feet," and I was like, "We don't want that guy to do that." And then I
forgot about Mad Max.
I didn't realize it was the same guy. That's the thing. I thought it was just a different dude. I didn't realize he was that versatile. So I think they really missed out with him. I think they really did. I think it would have been an excellent film with George Miller behind it.
And to think his fourth Mad Max film, which many think is one of the better, if not the best ones, I mean, he was 70 years old when he directed that, which is crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely the best one, by the way. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, definitely.
Maria says she wants to see Babe Beyond Thunderdome. That could be a good movie, Maria. Be a good movie.
Maria, if you can get Tina Turner to be on the soundtrack, we can make this happen immediately.
I think so.
Funding tomorrow.
All right, I'm going to go with a choice here, and I'm going to bring it back to dogs because I just can't get enough of pet dogs when it comes to films. In what other film can you think of a more amazing dog being in than one that actually helps Ernest P. Worrell defeat this villainous bog troll creature that was stealing children and even drives his truck for him? We are talking about Rimshot. Ernest Scared Stupid particularly, but Rimshot in general, I think, is an amazing dog and deserves so much more praise than he gets. Love, 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 love me some Rimshot. I know we have to have some fans out there of Ernest films and of this wonderfully adorable dog.
Yeah, Rimshot's been in a few Ernest films, which is like kind of interesting that kind of carries over. But yeah, Rimshot is the perfect dog for this crazy guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because he's got his shit together. Rimshot's like Brain from Inspector Gadget, kind of like just really smart, and is like Inspector Gadget's a bumbling fool, and he helps Penny try to fix things for him, so he's not messed up. So Rimshot does it all. Rimshot's great. Love Rimshot. Well, I guess we'll move on quickly then. Darren, go ahead with your next.
All right. So my favorite animal in a is in a TV show of all time, but my favorite animal in a movie of all time is, of course, the Komodo dragon from the movie The Freshman. So basically, The Freshman is a movie about a couple of, if you will, folks that are, in college looking for a job. It's got Matthew Broderick and Frank Whaley. For those of you who don't know Frank Whaley, he plays the young what's his name? Oh, it's escaping me. It's Moonlight Graham, the young Moonlight Graham in Field of Dreams. And these two guys basically need a summer job to help them get through college. So they end up being hired by Marlon Brando, who is a member of, we shall say, the organized crime community. And one of the missions that he sends him out on is to basically kidnap this Komodo dragon. Now, as you know, with a mobster like this, you either do the job correctly or you sleep with the fishes, for lack of a better term. So this Komodo dragon is really only in less than a handful of scenes. But every scene that it's in is incredibly memorable. One of the great scenes for me, and I'm just thinking from the perspective of an animal trainer, is when the Komodo dragon slips out of the car at the gas station and finds its way inside a mall and starts running amok. I mean, we're talking from everything, like it goes underneath every single car that's in the parking lot. It ends up swimming in the mall fountain and chasing all the little kids. It's riding an elevator. I mean, this is just really kind of incredibly cool stuff, along with this very Charlie Chaplin-esque kind of soundtrack. And almost any time I see this Komodo dragon on scene in the movie, I just erupt in laughter. I mean, The Freshman is a very underrated film, in my opinion. It's kind of been forgotten over the years, unfortunately, directed by Andrew Bergman. But I'm telling you, if for those of you who've never seen The Freshman, and those of you that are really into, because it's not really, quote, an animal movie, but the animal is a major character in the movie. And every time it's on screen, you just erupt in laughter, because no one has dared ever had a Komodo dragon do all these crazy kind of tricks and commands on camera. And you could tell the hard work they put into it. And it's just, like I said, it's a classic. It's very, very fun stuff. I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it, go see The Freshman with Matthew Broderick. Really
quite a risk they took with a Komodo dragon, too. That's crazy.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what is that? Hang on. What is that on the screen? What is it right? What is it? Oh, okay. Uh-oh. It's that time again, everybody. Boom. Top 5 with our guests. And top 5, for those of you that don't know, we randomly hit our guests with a top 5 every once in a while to just confuse and befuddle and sometimes make them cry. So, we're out for blood with this one on Chris. Today, this is sponsored by Splattered Frog Brewing Company. Splattered Frog Brewing Company is a beer company based out of Texas. You go to splatteredfrog.com and check out the link I put in the chat. I can repost it here in a moment. If you go there and you type in the code Headlock to get 25% off your merchandise order. If Headlock does not work, you can also put in the code Shortbox, I believe, will also work, or Real Shortbox. That should get you 25% off as well. So we'll post those a little later in our social media as well. So you'll have the code if you decide you want to get a hat, one of these cool hats, or a shirt or something along those lines. So, top 5. Here we go. Chris, your top 5 film or television dogs. Because you know how much I love dogs. I got to hear you. I got to get your list, your top 5. Start with 5 and go down to your number 1.
I'm going to have a name, so I might have to mention the movie, the dog that the movie is in, rather than the actual dog's name.
Fair enough.
All right, so we'll go number 5, Snoopy.
Nice choice. Nice choice.
I'll say number 4, Michael J. Fox dog from Homeward Bound.
Yeah.
Chance?
Yeah. Number 3, let's go with Frankenweenie.
Nice.
That's a good choice.
Number 2, let's go with little dog from Little Rascals.
Okay. I don't remember that dog's name, but all right. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And Sprocket from Fraggle Rock is my number 1 dog.
Sprocket?
Nice.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
I like that, too. All right. Excellent job, Chris. Thank you for being a part of the Real Short Box Live and being such a good sport.
That's the name of the dog.
Pete the Pup.
Ah, okay. And thanks for being a sport on our top 10 here. sponsored by Splattered Frog Brewing Company, based out of Texas. So thank you to everybody for that. I'm going to quickly mention a few things before we get to, I believe it was Kevin's next choice.
Yes.
Let's see. Maria says she'll make some calls on that Babe Beyond the Thunderdome.
Thank you.
Let's see. Sean says, wow, I thought I was the only one that saw The Freshman. Hakeem says, I wonder if that Komodo dragon was the one that mutated into Godzilla later because of Matthew Broderick's radiation. That's a good point. It was an 8-year mutation cycle. Sean says, Splattered Frog slogan should be the frog got hops. Nice. Angie says Petey. She got it. And Maria says, so glad someone brought up Frankenweenie. Love, love, love the original movie. So there you go, Chris. You made some friends there with your Frankenweenie choice. And now Kevin gets to try to make some more friends here with his next choice.
That's a great thing to say, because this creature can be like the best friend you can ever have if he existed in real life. And that is the Luck Dragon, Falkor, from the Never Ending Story.
Oh!
Whoa, good choice. Look at that. Look at that big, beautiful brown eyes.
I know. It's a big smile, you know. He's a lovely creature. And
what does Falkor sound like, Kevin?
It's just a nice, very, very nice, friendly voice.
But can you imitate it? Can you imitate it at all?
Not really. Can you?
give it a try, Kevin. Just give it a try.
Atreyu. I don't know. Atreyu. Watch out for the nothing. I don't know.
That's good enough. I'll take it.
Yeah, sounds terrible, but this creature is awesome because he is just basically he's kind of like a combination of a dog and a dragon, but he's full of hope. He leads Atreyu, always keeps him on the path against the nothing. You know, he helps him on his adventures. He flies him thousands and thousands of miles around Fantasia. And eventually, you know, they win the day. And also, of course, he meets up with the little boy who's reading the book, Bastion. So it's kind of a combination where he kind of gets absorbed into the story, as we know. But it's an awesome creature. You know, you can't go wrong with a creature like this. Love this guy. You imagine having this thing in real life you get to fly around with.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, just look at that face.
Plus, you know, it's like dogs are always usually like laying around, like trying to lay on you and shit like that. He's so big that like it's the other way around, like permanently. Like you always are going to be laying around him or on him. So it's about damn time we get revenge on these dogs. You know, I feel like we should take him to a playground, like at a preschool, and just lay him there, like have him sit down or whatever, and just have those kids just like swarm on him. Revenge.
The movie has, you know, probably a sad moment that competes with Old Yeller too. So.
Well, that's true. That's true.
That is very true.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about too, but I don't want to say it for those who haven't seen the movie.
I mean, Chris, is it a kid's movie and was it made in the 80s? If those are both yes, then of course there were sad moments in it.
Very true. Hakeem says the plant from Little Shop is number 5. Gizmo is number 4. The gorilla from Rampage is number 3. Jiminy Cricket is number 2. And Godzilla is his number 1.
Oh, yeah, he loves Godzilla.
Yeah. And Scorch says, speaking of never-ending story, we've got to talk about that horrifying Gmork, the wolf-bear hybrid who haunts everyone's nightmares.
You know what? That thing scared me when I was a kid. That is a frightening creature.
Yeah, it was like a wolf thing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Scared me.
And he talks some trash, too, in a very deep, menacing voice.
Yeah, he did. He's a dick. All right, Chris, your choice.
All right, well, my number 1 choice was already mentioned. It was Homeward Bound, so I'm going to throw a little curveball, and I'm gonna mention a movie that not many people might not be thinking about, and it's a comedy, and it really got me into this type of movie when this is the first one I saw, and it's by Christopher Guest, and it's Best of Show.
Okay.
Love that movie. I watched it. It was great. I think Jennifer Coolidge, one of her best movies. best characters out of all of the Christopher Guest movies. And it really got me interested. I didn't really haven't seen a Christopher Guest movie until I saw that one. And that really got me super interested in seeing the rest of the Christopher Guest movies. And it was just a ton of fun. I thought it was really great. I think it's one of his better ones. It's about dogs, but it's not about, a specific dog. It's about the people with the dogs. And I love it. It's great. And I thought it needed to be mentioned on our list today because it's a wonderful movie.
And to think in some countries, these dogs are eaten. One of my favorite lines ever from Fred Willard, the late Fred Willard. Yeah, Christopher Guest, if I start, I could spend 20 minutes talking about Christopher Guest, but it's a fine choice. Great cast, too. Parker Posey, John Michael Higgins, bunch of other great actors.
Yeah.
Eugene Levy and his two left feet. Now,
there is a documentary series on Netflix. It's just delightful, and I'm so sorry about the name. I think it's like We Are the Champions or The Greats or something like that. It's basically all about these different competitions. One episode they did was on a cheese rolling down a hill that people had to try to catch. Another one was about a hot pepper tasting contest. And then the third episode that I watched was about dogs dancing. It was a dance competition with their human and their dog together. And they were like, all of them that talked about it, they said pet shows, dog shows were too boring. They weren't like, there was a little spectacle to it, but not enough. So they thought, well, how can we get more involved? And they came up with dancing with their pets. So these dogs will get up and dance with them like this, and like it's the craziest thing. So I highly recommend that series. It's on Netflix if you get a chance to watch it.
Donald, I wanted to mention too, if I'm doing my counting correctly, Chris has just begun our final round of selections.
Scorch says, I like the ugly dachshund about a great Dane who believes he's a dachshund.
The ugly dachshund? Oh, yeah.
Dachshund, yeah. I guess I'm very terrible at pronunciation. My mom saw the show, the documentary, I guess, on Netflix. So thank you, Mom, for knowing what I'm talking about. It's actually really great, guys, so I highly recommend it. Okay, I'm going to go with my final one then. Mine's not really much of a curveball, but it is pretty awesome. I'm going to go with Alien Life Form, a.k.a. Alf. Now, Alf, what can you say about Gordon Shumway that hasn't really already been said? He loves cats so much he wants them inside him as dinner. He is the best friend to Brian, I believe, the boy of the family, the Tanner family. Danny Tanner, I think it was Danny Tanner. Was it Danny Tanner? Or am I getting that confused with Full House? I'm getting that confused with Full House, yeah. But you all know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, the dad in it, like the whole idea of the show is kind of amazing because they had to leave giant holes in the floor for the puppeteers to work Alf and move him around. So for the actors, it was this huge death trap of navigating where they're supposed to move to on the floor and not fall into one of these damn holes where Alf's hands are supposed to come up and move the puppet and stuff. Lots of things. If you go like behind the scenes on Alf, there's a lot of effed up stuff, particularly with the dad too. Like,
Willy, yeah, he's out of control.
Yeah, Willy, thank you. There was cocaine was discovered really hardcore in the 80s, and I think he very much enjoyed it, like that discovery, I will say. But yeah, it's like if you just look it up, guys, it's worth it, trust me. But Alf himself is a great character, a very trusting, very loyal friend, sassy, funny, loves to eat, loves to hang out, watch TV, play video games, whatever, loves chasing neighbor's cat. Which I would love because I don't want cats really near me. They make me sneeze. So he can take care of the cats for me. That's perfect. It's a perfect relationship. I would love to hang out with Alf. And I think everybody that was a kid around that time also wanted to hang out with Alf. So he's the reason. I kept him for last for that reason alone. He would make the ultimate best friend with them.
Would you visit Melmac?
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're a kid, sure, but I mean, if you're a mom and dad and you have to pay for his food bill, considering he has 9 stomachs, I mean, it's something to think about. I'm just saying.
That's true.
It's true. I would just send him like neighbors' houses and shit, or we would go doing that freegan thing. We'd go dumpster diving outside of the Little Caesars Pizza or some shit and get his meals, and who knows? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, man. It's worth it. Alf is worth it.
Speaking of pizza, I think I still have those little, at least 3 of those little elf puppets that Pizza Hut gave out, or that you got
Really?
from Pizza Hut. There's like the rock and roll one and the regular one, a couple other ones. I think I got at least 2 of them somewhere.
That's cool, dude. I did not know you had those. Man, you've been holding out on me all these years. Son of a bitch. All right, next. Darren, I think it's your turn. Your turn.
Yeah, so my favorite, probably of all time as far as animals go, is on a TV show, and that, of course, is Buck Bundy on Married with Children.
Yes.
Buck was actually in 106 episodes, which is kind of uncanny to think about.
Yeah.
And when the episode where Buck goes to heaven and they essentially retire him from the show, his life force transfers into a Cocker Spaniel named Lucky. The voice of Buck is Kevin Curran, who is just fantastic with the voiceover work. And Buck's mouth does not move during this. He'll just sit there often with his tongue hanging out, breathing. The thought that Buck the dog is quite possibly the sanest member of the Bundy family just kind of says everything. And
Yep.
the comedic timing of Buck is actually quite good. And what I always get a kick out of is that they all think Buck is such a stupid animal. They kind of laugh about it and make jokes. And Buck will just respond with his little remarks as often as possible. And, I remember, I think it was Bud was talking about, you're just a dumb animal. You don't know any better. And he's like, yeah, check out that little present I left in your shoes. He's just a very, very sassy kind of dog, even though he just looks so happy and peaceful, just lazy, just kind of lays around. But no question for me, Buck the dog. I mean, it's one of the few times I've ever seen in a TV show where when a character leaves a show, it's very noticeable.
Yeah.
And it's probably the first non-human character that I noticed left the show where I'm like, oh, I miss Buck big time. I mean, Lucky's cool, don't get me wrong, but I mean, there's just nothing or no one quite like Buck.
Yep.
Buck Bundy.
Few comments. My mother says, LOL, love Alf. Sean says his number 1 would be Sammy the Way Out Seal from 1962. Hakeem says Officer Riggs' dog from Lethal Weapon was pretty cool. He actually had a few other dogs as the franchise progressed. And Hakeem also said Buck was genuinely awesome in Married with Children.
Yes. Sadly, though, I mean, we could not put on our list Lancelot Link's Secret Chimp, since we are the podcast that has sheer expertise in simian characters. But Buck the dog will have to do the best of the best for me.
It's true. Did Buck really die? Is that why they retired him? I think he just got a little too old, if I recall. And
yes.
He hadn't passed, but they were like, Buck's, yeah.
He did die shortly after.
Yeah, he was having some trouble, I think. So they were like, we need to, move on from Buck and go to another dog, which I understand. He's a long time, 100 and some episodes. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So, Kevin, I guess you're going to close this out. What's your last one?
Yes, my last one is, I'll sing the lyrics real quick. Hello, I'm Mr. Ed. A horse is a horse, of course, and no one can talk to a horse, of course. That is, of course, a lust of the horse is the famous Mr. Ed. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? I love that horse. He's a jerk, but he's a cool horse.
Talk about loving peanut butter. This horse, nuts over it.
Yes. It's played by a gelding bamboo harvester, and the show ran from 1961 to 1966. And of course, the running gag joke would be Wilbur would be talking to Ed, and other people would be wondering, who are you talking to? Because they don't understand that the horse actually can talk. So it makes you wonder, is a horse really talking, or is something going on in Wilbur's head?
Yeah. That is a good thought. Is it Is he crazy?
Yeah, is he crazy?
Could be.
But I'll tell you what, if I saw a horse talking to me like, hello, Kevin, I'm like, whoa, okay. That'd be pretty disturbing.
You'd be like, you gotta come home with me. I've got 6 or 7 beers in the fridge. Let's party.
I mean, look at this picture. I mean, look at those teeth. Look at those chompers, man. Those chompers are some serious chompers he has.
Teeth were creepy, man.
I know, they're real creepy.
Yeah. Purpose and Chai, by the way, says, good one, Kev. My mom says, love Mr. Ed. Maria says, nice. There should definitely be more horses on this list, guys.
Oh, if I could add one more honorable mention. If you look behind me.
It's hot to trot, Sean.
You see this puppy right here? This beautiful beagle puppy?
Yeah.
That's Daisy. That's Daisy from the first John Wick movie.
Aww.
When that puppy went out, I was so pissed. I supported John Wick in his mission to kill every single last gangster.
Yep. Everybody was in on that once that happened.
And to a previous comment, I lobbied hard for Francis the Talking Mule, everybody. It didn't work out. Just saying, I tried.
And Sean, if you didn't hear me, it was hot to trot. Okay, yeah, you saw. And one of the theme song, the actual theme song was done by Danny Elfman, believe it or not, which is pretty cool.
Oh.
From Boingo Boingo days. After that, I guess you could say. My mom says, if he was crazy, we all were who watched it every week, LOL.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And Purpose and Chai says, aw, same.
I know, about the puppy.
Yeah. But I think, guys, that's going to do it. I think we're done. We've got the list through, and we're finishing on time, actually, which is kind of amazing for us. So
keep the habit up.
Thanks for all that tuned in. We had a great time today, and you guys were very active in the chats. We always appreciate that. We appreciate you coming back. Kevin, what do we have next week that's super exciting? What do we have?
Unless I am crazy, I believe it's supposed to be 90s cartoons or top 10 90s cartoons or something like that.
Actually, you know what? Let me bring it up and put it on the screen so everybody can see it.
I think that's in 2 weeks, 90s cartoons, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, my bad.
I'm going to bring it up right now. We'll have the list up on the screen so everybody can see it. It'll be amazing. Here we go. I think this is the right one. Oh, it's very small. There we go. Okay, so June 7th was today. This is our favorite live-action animal movies. June 14th is our top dads. That's for Father's Day.
That's right. Our
Father's Day. We did Mother's Day. We got to do Father's Day. Our top dads, choices of our top fathers on film and television that we'll be discussing. June 21st will then be our top 10 90s cartoons. We'll be listing our top 10 90s cartoons like we did with our 80s cartoons. That's going to be a super fun one. The top dads is going to be just wonderful. And then after that, we've got some big things coming. Some big things. We've got
big stuff.
A huge competition that's going to be coming. A battle that's going to be coming.
The battle to end all battles.
Yep. And you will definitely want to be around to participate in that because it is going to be you vote type scenarios again that we usually that's always a favorite. So that's going to be coming back in a couple weeks. But for now, our next one is our top dads, followed by top 10 90s cartoons. So thank you all for joining us. Enrique says thank you guys. Have a good night. Thank you, Enrique.
Thank you, Enrique.
Mom says good night. Love you, son. Oh, good night. Love you too, Mom. Love you too, Dad. Angie, have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Janet, thank you. Sammy, I'm glad it looks fun. Can't wait to have more fun with everybody. Sean says Mrs. Doubtfire has to be on somebody's dad's list.
No doubt.
No doubt, Sean, no doubt. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Chris, for being a very special guest for us tonight and for coming up with this idea. It was a lot of fun. And if we don't see you out and about anytime soon, perhaps, maybe, just maybe, we'll see you
at the elegant, dazzling, gorgeous, and magnificent comic book shop.
Boy!
Good night, everybody.